Chef Buck here, and today we're going to do breakfast that I've been preparing for many years. In fact, I did a video of this recipe. This was one of my first ones, probably more than a decade ago. And I titled it, How Rich People Eat Eggs, or something like that, because I associate this meal with affluence, because it has some fancy pants elements. Although it is really not that expensive, we're going to take a deep dive into this recipe. But anyway, this recipe has smoked fish.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the priciest part. And we've kind of got a couple of different smoked fish here. I usually use smoked salmon, and this is the one I usually buy and use. And it's a 3-ounce package, and they usually cut it in half and make 2 meals with this. And this runs about $4, maybe. I got this yesterday. It was on sale for $5. And it's 4 ounces. So I'm going to use this. And I have made this recipe with smoked trout.
Yes. It's thicker.
It is thicker, but it's generally saltier too. I kind of like it just with the plain Jane salmon.
Oh yeah.
With smoked salmon, it's delicioso. So that's key for this recipe. And fennel is key for this recipe. What else?
Although you can make it without the fennel, because
no, you can't make it without the fennel.
Yes, you can.
Fennel is key for this recipe.
Capers and salmon and egg are key.
Capers?
Yeah.
Do I put capers in this?
You should.
I can. I'm gonna do that. I don't think I usually put capers, but I'm gonna put capers because this is a flexible recipe. Although you do need fennel, you do need smoked fish, you do need egg.
Mm-hmm. And we're not having bread.
And we're not having bread, which is usually a key ingredient for this recipe too. But we'll go over all the stuff and put it together in sort of real time. So as long as it takes me to make this meal, it's how long it's going to take for you to make this meal at home, a fancy pants breakfast. Although it'll actually be a lot faster for you because you're not going to be talking all this shite, so we call it.
No.
Anyway, but I used to make this here at my last job when I was working at a bed and breakfast. This was one of my go-to breakfasts because you could prepare so much in advance. And so if you went out and you gave people, the choice of breakfast and they wanted this one, then boom, all I'd have to do is throw it on a plate and cook them an egg and toss it on there, and then that was it. So lickety-split. Because really this is just a fancy pants salad with a little smoked fish and egg. But it looks nice.
It tastes delicious.
If you make it up on a plate, it can look very attractive. Although, as Camera Girl said, we're not going to have bread with this recipe. And bread really makes it luxurious and decadent. And we're at a house sit. And I'll do my obligatory, if you want to find out more about house sitting, I'll have a link down below and it'll take you to our house sitting vids. In fact, I'll have links down below for anything that we talk about in this video. But although we have house sit here several times, I'm still not familiar with where everything is in the kitchen. So if I'm floundering around looking for stuff, like I don't know where it is, it's because I probably don't know where it is. But I'm going to go ahead and get my plates ready because you can kind of set this meal up. The only thing I'm going to cook are the eggs. So basically I'm going to throw together a salad. And I like to use fennel and spinach for this recipe because spinach is easy. We buy these bags of spinach. It keeps for quite a while. It's already washed. We don't have to fool with it too much, but you can use any kind of leafy greens to mix with the fennel that you like. In fact, I think I've got a bag that's partially open already, so let me do that. But we're going to mix it up in a bowl. And I like to make my own dressing for this recipe. And this is some that I've got left over that I had made previously. And it's just a little bit of oil and lemon juice. And I got some garlic in there. Come on down here, Camera Girl, and look at this here. You can see it because I had it in the fridge. The oil is kind of solidified. But if we stir it up, it'll get kind of liquidy. And, you know, I've had this going now for probably about a week. And whenever we've used it for anything, I just add a little bit more to it. So, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that right now so you can see exactly what I've got in here. In fact, I'm going to add some ginger to it, too.
The fresh garlic, really, the longer it sits, it's nice.
Exactly. So you make this dressing, and then any that you have left over, you just put it in the fridge. And because it's got garlic in it, you know, it kind of enhances the flavor as time goes by. But let me go ahead and chop up a little bit of this garlic and put it in here. And it doesn't take a lot. Boom, boom, boom. Let me get my refuse bag going here. Alrighty. So I'm not going to add a whole lot of garlic to this here, because it doesn't take a lot. But I'm just going to mince this up. And just throw it in here so I've got a little bit of extra garlic flavor. Although I've already got a little bit of garlic in there. But this is just going to add flavor to our oil and vinegar dressing. Although I'm not using vinegar because I have fresh lemon. But if you don't have fresh lemon, then you could just throw a little vinegar in here.
What are your ratios that you use?
3 to 1. I mean, that is technically what you're looking for. With your oil and vinegar mixture, you want 3 parts oil to 1 part vinegar. But you know, you can be kind of flexible on that. It's really to taste, but that's a good idea. Let's see, I've already got some sliced lemons that I have sliced up. So let me go ahead and throw a little bit of lemon in here and hopefully not get any seeds. Where you at? Get down here. Look at that. You're missing all of that delicious lemon juicy action. And also how powerful my hands are. Mm-hmm. Look at that. You know how I got all that strength in my hand?
Can we say it on film?
It's from working out with one of those little balls to make your hands stronger. It's like an exercise.
Stress ball?
Yeah, a stress ball. That's it. Anyway, let me wash my hands here. See, this is a real-time video, so you get all of this action, because in all of my videos, people are always saying, why don't you wash your hands, blah, blah, blah.
You know what?
I'm constantly washing my hands.
You know what? Chef Buck is talking more in this video than he does in 2 hours of real life. I don't think I'm going to get breakfast today.
No, yeah. You're definitely going to do it. So I got a squeeze of lemon in there, and I don't know how much it was, but I'm going to try to put, 2 to 3 times more actual oil in there. And then this is going to be my dressing. And as I said, I think I got a little bit of ginger. So I'm going to throw some ginger in here too. What was you pointing at?
Nothing. I thought that was ginger.
No, that's a leftover little bit of garlic. And I'm going to use that for something. Now with ginger, you can actually eat the skin of ginger. If you just wanted to scrape the skin off of the ginger, you could. Or you could just eat this. I could mince this skin up and put it in with the dressing. But I don't do that. I usually just go ahead and toss the skin.
I use it. I wash it and then I use it.
Yeah, well, sometimes it's very thin. Sometimes the skin on ginger can be very, very thin, but sometimes it's
fibrous. That's true.
Yeah, it's a little dried out and chunky. It all depends. Like when we shop at Asian markets, when we lived in Seattle, we could go and get ginger, and it would be very fresh. And the skin would be very thin because they sold so much ginger. Here in the markets that we frequent in the United States, I don't think they sell as much ginger. And sometimes when you go and buy ginger at a market, you can tell it's really old. But I'll go ahead and mince this up and throw it in my dressing.
Yum.
But this is really, what's the word I'm looking for? If it's in a recipe, but you don't have to put it in the recipe. What's that called? Optional. This is very optional. Oh my God, camera here, you're going to have to help me.
So you're not adding any salt or pepper. You just do that.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not going to do that to this because I'll add that to whatever the dish I'm making is.
Okay.
But I give it a little taste test, and this is perfecto for me. Now I could adjust this with a little more lemon juice or a little more oil if I wanted to. And like I said, if you don't have fresh lemon, I like to use a little rice vinegar in there. I could just do this with oil and vinegar. Whatever kind of vinegar you like, the rice vinegar is good. Alrighty. Now, I'm going to go ahead and throw my salad together with my dressing. Now, as I said, we like to use a little bit of spinach. And you would make as much salad as you're going to need for however many people you're going to serve. So since it's just Camera Girl and I'm not going to use a whole lot.
Camera Girl and me.
Camera Girl and me, not Camera Girl and I?
Yeah, it's only I if it's the subject of the scene.
Oh my God. Now this is officially the worst recipe video in history. Alright, actually this has turned into a grammar lesson. I'll throw a little bit more.
What is it? 2 palms of greens at every meal if the world's perfect?
Yeah. So you're saying that we should have that much, ideally? So we're there.
There you go.
So this is the bulk of our greens. But this is key. Having fennel for this dish is key. I love fennel. It's got kind of a mild licoricey taste, which sort of is off-putting, just the sound of it. Nobody wants a vegetable that tastes like licorice, but it's not really taste like licorice, but it just has those little notes. But I just bought this yesterday, so I'm not going to use this one. I'm going to use up some of the old fennel that I have in the fridge, because I have a wee little bit left, I think.
That's the thing, is fennel, you get a whole bunch, and you just want to use little bits in each recipe, so a little goes a long way.
Yeah, that's true.
And you do a great job of making it thin.
Yeah. For this here recipe, you definitely want to shave your fennel thin. So this is what we got left over from the bulb that we bought probably 10 days ago.
Yeah.
So it'll last a little while. We've used it maybe for 4 or 5 different recipes already.
Yeah.
But I'm going to just cut off a little bit of end there. Boom, boom, boom.
And you could save the fronds for garnish if you wanted, because it's pretty.
Yeah, it is pretty. But I don't think the fronds add a lot of flavor.
No.
And since this is already going to be a mostly green dish, I really don't need that for a garnish. Because putting green on top of the green really isn't going to be much of a garnish. I'm going to have a little bit of tomato to offset that. But I think this is going to be enough fennel for this much spinach.
That's a lot.
It is a lot, but it's not a lot either. But you want to go ahead and slice it as thin as you can. You don't want big chunks of fennel in this dish.
No. Fennel also goes well with carrot. Like a carrot fennel soup. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It definitely does. In fact, I thought about putting carrot in here because of the color, but I never do.
Well, it's also sweet. Carrot is sweeter.
Like a little bit of shaved carrot in there, maybe just as an accent for color would work.
Nah.
But I really don't want carrot flavor in my breakfast. Although I love carrot, I don't want to see carrot until lunchtime. Okay, come on down here, camera girl. So that's how much fennel that I'm going to use for this recipe. And, I could have done a better job of cutting this here a little bit thinner. But I sort of feel the pressure of doing this on camera. But normally I would take a little more time and make this thinner. But it is definitely thin enough. What you don't want is big chunks. So now I'm going to go ahead and mix up my dressing and throw just a wee little bit of dressing in here. And now I will save this for another recipe later. Use this on a salad or anything that I want to use a little garlicky, oily, vinegary type dressing for. And next time I do this, when it starts to get low, I will just add a little bit more oil and vinegar to this and almost use this as a dressing base because this garlic and ginger in here is going to flavor up that oil the longer it sits around. But let me go ahead and toss this, just these two together. Oh, and you wanted some capers in here?
You can do that at the end, though. But that's going to add some salt, so...
Yeah, I will add that at the end so that I make sure that we each get this same amount
Aww,
in our dishes.
That's love.
Well, no, that's just math. That's a logistical thing. Alrighty, so I will toss this here, get my dressing suffused throughout. Then I'm going to add a little bit of fresh cracked black pepper. Boom, boom, boom. And that's basically all we need for our greens. So now I want to select my smoked fish. And I'm going to go with this here that I've never tried before.
Cracked pepper and garlic.
I know.
I'm in love already.
It just sounded good. And it was on sale, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Has it got a lot of extra ingredients?
I didn't look at that. Don't worry about that. And we already bought it, so we're using it.
Okay.
Well, let me go ahead and throw this. In fact, I'm going to slice up my tomato first. And I don't know, how do you feel, camera girl? Do you want to eat a whole tomato this morning, or do you want to split this?
We'll split it. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because I got two of them. You think that's enough?
I think so. Because sometimes we just use cherry
tomatoes. Yes.
They're very sweet.
I love cherry tomatoes, but this makes a nice presentation on the plate.
It's also a good flavor. It's not as sweet as the little cherry tomatoes, and you don't need real sweet for this recipe.
Yeah, but cherry tomatoes actually have flavor. Like, I very rarely buy these whole tomatoes anymore because cherry tomatoes just taste better. Let's do a taste test here of this. What is this? This was a vine-ripe tomato that I bought at Publix.
The challenge is...
And it has the consistency of a tomato.
The challenge is...
But not a lot of flavor.
We grew up with tomatoes with flavor.
Well, when I was a kid, tomatoes tasted like tomatoes. Now tomatoes just taste like some red thing you put in your mouth.
It has texture. Yeah, but the...
Cherry tomatoes have more flavor.
They have sugar. More sugar.
Well, I don't even know. You're talking out of your behind. You're
I'm not.
A tomato scientist here.
Uh-huh.
Well,
my grandparents, they grew tomatoes that actually had flavor.
All right, so I'm going to go ahead and throw my tomatoes on a plate. Boom, boom, boom.
Ah.
Let's see, and then I'm going to toss my greens on here. Now, if we were actually doing this recipe in the bed and breakfast where I worked, or if we were doing this years ago, I would actually plate this up kind of near the end, and I would have a piece of toast under here. You know, so if you were into bread, like we're taking a break from bread, which I'm not happy about, but if I mean bread is life, isn't that the thing? You know, doesn't everybody say that?
Okay, there's all kind of advertisements that you can cling to, buddy.
But bread is fantastic with this. But we're not using bread, but if you had a piece of toast under here, it would be perfecto.
Artesian bread, sure.
Yeah, definitely some kind of fancy pants bread. All right, here I go with more hand washing. Oh my God. I'm like a doctor. I wash my hands more than a cardiologist. So now we've got boom, boom, boom. Let me get back to my salmon. Alrighty. I think this video is really going to suffer from the lack of editing. But that's alright. So let me open this up and see what we got. Because I've never used this brand before. But it's quite a little bit. And it's already cut and shaved.
Wow.
A little bit. Pretty thinly. So let's see.
It's beautiful.
It smells really nice. So I'm going to go ahead and throw this on here. And it looks like there's 4 pieces, so we'll do 2 pieces each.
Ooh, it's a rich breakfast for sure.
Yeah.
That is a lot.
And this here, like I said, this was on sale. This is a little more than I usually use. And I think, you know, we paid $5 for this on sale. So you're talking about greens and tomato and egg, and not a lot of this is very expensive. The most expensive component of this is the salmon. But you don't have to use this fancy pants salmon. Like here, we've done it with just canned sardines before. You know, if you just wanted to open up a can of sardines and lay some sardines or some, what's that, herring? You know, that works as well. It's not as good. I mean, I love the smoked salmon. You know, this kind of a refrigerated smoked fish is delicious.
Now, before you do your eggs, so you don't forget them, do you mind putting a couple of capers on there?
You're gonna have to talk. You're gonna have to talk louder in case I use the audio on my shirt.
That's right.
Alrighty, let me see if that spoon's not gonna fit. But the camera girl wants me to go ahead and caper this up, and I should have done it before I put this salmon on here.
Oh, well, we know how to scoop around.
But normally,
those are big.
Normally, I don't think I use capers. Or I didn't the last few times I've made this.
But I know you say it's not versatile, but I mean, you can have cream cheese on the table if you want.
Cream cheese is an excellent idea for that. But now, basically, this is complete. Except for an egg. So if you were going to make this in the morning for people, if you had to make breakfast for multiple people, like 5 or 6 people or 10 people, you know, if you were trying to impress family at a family gathering, you could get up in the morning and you could have this already. You could make this. You could have this sitting on your counter at 7 o'clock when everybody starts to get up. You know, and they come to the breakfast table and you just go out and you say, "You ready for your breakfast?" And they say, "Yeah, Grandma, you know, I'll have breakfast." You know, if you have the hippest grandma on the planet. And then you just go into the kitchen and then you just make your egg and throw it on top of here.
You know what?
Your
and if your family really loves you, 1 or 2 people will get up and help you get it ready.
That's
and
true.
then when the other people get up and they whine because it's not biscuits and gravy and fried chicken.
Okay. Well, not enough of that. You get that. You just focus on this because I got to blow my nose. Because this is a real-time video, so I got to do some cleaning up over here.
Are you heating? Oh, Chef Buck is so disciplined. He will clean as he goes. Camera girl does not.
I'm not really cleaning up much. There's not much to clean up.
That's true. It's not too bad.
Because it is basically an egg dish. So I'm going to go ahead and turn on my stove. And last week, I think the video I put up was olive oil fried egg. And that's basically what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to put an olive oil fried egg up on here. Although usually I do a poached egg. Or I used to do a poached egg with this. Lately I've been doing fried eggs. But I used to do just a poached egg on here. But now I'm going to do a fried egg. But I think an egg with a runny yolk is what you want for this.
Well, it creates a sauce.
Exactly, because you want that yolk to run over everything. Now, you can definitely do this with scrambled eggs. You know, if you're like making this in a trailer for your family and they're all coming to the table with their tank tops on and they got a little cup that they're spitting their chew in.
You are crazy. You just insulted my mother. My mother does not like a runny egg.
Oh, she doesn't?
No.
Oh, well. Let's see. Now I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil for these eggs. Let me.
Even though it's going to be high heat.
Even though it's going to be high heat.
And you could do part butter if you wanted to.
No. I'm not. I mean, you're fine with this oil here. Just the olive oil is good. And I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of garlic in here. Once this heats up. Now, I think the last time that I made this for us, I used 4 eggs. I think I put 2 eggs on each one of these plates. And that felt like a lot to me.
It was.
Because we've sort of, I don't know, we really flip-flop on this channel between very unhealthy, overly decadent dishes and
Well, in big portions.
And big portions.
Chef Buck eats huge portions.
And that's not true anymore, though.
I know.
You know, so we definitely have a healthier lifestyle. I mean, we go in cycles.
But plus, you have put a lot of salmon. Having 1 egg apiece is great.
Yeah, so 1 egg is going to be enough for here. Again, you can put as much egg on here as you like. So I'm going to heat up my oil.
You got your eggs?
Got my eggs right here. I'm going to go ahead and throw my garlic in here and let it start flavoring up the oil. And I'll sprinkle a little bit of salt on here.
Even with the capers and the salmon having salt?
Let me see how salty this salmon is. It's not overly salty. The capers are pretty salty.
Yeah.
But I'm still going to put just a wee little on here because I don't have any salt in the dressing. I don't have any salt in the greens. I don't have any salt in the tomatoes. So you definitely want to salt to taste. But if you do put capers on here like we've got, just be mindful that the capers are going to be pretty salty. Now come on over here, camera girl. You can see my oil is starting to heat up. You know, it's frying my garlic a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my eggs in here and hope that this skillet is big enough for 2 eggs.
I was going to say, that's little.
I should have used the bigger one, but I didn't. But that's it. Life throws you challenges, you know. You just have to roll with it. Boom, boom, boom. Crack-a-lack-a-ding-dang, and we'll see. We'll let this go for a few minutes. We'll see how it works out.
Yeah. Beautiful yolks.
Alrighty. So now we're just waiting for our eggs. Come on over here, camera girl. I'm going to throw a little bit of fruit on here. So we got some grapes. You know what would be good on this plate?
What?
Is a wedge of orange. That would have been very good because it would have been another color on here.
Oh my heavens! We'll put a wedge of lemon that you could squeeze
a wedge
on
of lemon?
You could squeeze on the salmon.
No. Alrighty.
I think you've forgotten who the empress of the backgammon kingdom is today.
She wants to bring up who won backgammon today. That's how we start our day every day with backgammon and coffee. Because backgammon is a brain exercise. Because you got to get up in the morning, you got to start using your brain, especially, you know, as you get older. And I don't even know, can they tell my face is a little mucked up because I got stuck because I went to the dermatologist. I've gone to the dermatologist 2 times. This is the 2nd year in a row. They didn't Frankenstein me up this year like they did last year.
Well, you have a paler skin tone.
I do. I have the skin tone of who's the lady on the damn Targaryen whatever.
My Lord.
I have the skin of a fine princess. Okay, let me. Oh, where's my thing?
What are you looking for?
I'm not prepared. Okay, here. Okay, I need one of these here because I'm going to go ahead and toss this over. Get a little bit of oil on top of here because these are olive oil fried eggs. Now if I wanted to, I could just over easy these eggs, and maybe I should because my skillet's so crowded, but I'm not. But my whites aren't doing good, so I am going to do it. I'm going to turn it over because I don't want my yolks to get overly done.
You make that look simpler than it is. Oh, you can make a mess.
Don't say that, because I still might bust this yolk.
Don't bust it. Don't.
Alrighty. So that's it. I turned it over, and I'm turning my stove off. Boom, boom, boom. And that's plenty cooked enough. So I'm going to have a nice runny yolk on here.
Smells so good.
And I got this garlicky oil. And I'm not going to waste this.
No.
That's the thing with doing these olive oil fried eggs, is instead of having oil that you don't want to consume and you just throw away, it actually adds to the meal. So I'm going to throw this garlic and oil on top of my plate, except for this one not lovely strand right here. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to put a little bit more cracked pepper.
Oh, man after my own heart.
And then that's it. So look at this terrific, fantastic, beautiful egg dish. And this is how rich people eat eggs. At least according to my old video. But as long as this video is how long it took me to put together these very delicious, decadent looking plates. And you can do it a lot faster than this.
I was going to say, plus 30% talking.
Yeah, because I was just talking a whole bunch. But come on over here and let me dig into this here. So you can see what I'm doing as far as eating the dish goes. If I can find some silverware. Boom, boom, boom. So what you want to do, ideally,
how to eat eggs?
No, but this is why you want a runny yolk. Because you want to be able to bust your yolk. And you want to have that yolky goodness to throw into your mouth. Cut off a piece of tomato there too.
Yeah, that adds some texture.
So I got salmon, egg,
you could
greens.
add avocado if you wanted.
Oh yeah, we've done that plenty of times. Have a sliced avocado on the side here. But look, this is plenty. This is a big breakfast. This salmon is definitely a winner. I really like this salmon. You can go over to myfoodchannel.com and you can find this recipe written out.
Can I eat now?
You can eat.
Yay!
Golly, I need help getting up almost.
By the time I take my pictures and everything, poor camera girl has to eat a cold egg breakfast.
Still delicious.
Yeah.
You just want to get some of all the flavors.
Well, your yolk was still a little runny,
Oh yeah, it was.
but it's just an absolute fantastic combo.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hard to get a shot of you without food in your mouth now, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Say adios.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you in the future. Bye-bye.